Hi everyone, it's Tracy. I am sharing my version of the Scarecrow hat using one of those witch hat frames from the Dollar Tree. Now we all learn differently, and so this is a project that I had on my fall 2018 decor list, so I'm checking this off of my list, but I definitely wanted to share with you my little version, kind of my little country spin on things. If you like country crafts, please consider subscribing to my channel. I love to share crafty ideas like this. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will share with you everything that I did to put this together. The supplies that I used is a witch hat, 4 rolls of 5-inch deco mesh, some burlap, some raffia, some chenille stems, some berries, and some ribbons, as well as a hot glue gun and hot glue sticks. So let me show you how I put all of this together. I'm using my wire cutters to cut off all of those little nubs that keep the tinsel on the witch hat. So I'm just showing you here how, just by removing the nubs, this is how it looks. First, I'm going to put some raffia at the very tip of my hat, and honestly, after I got the hat done, I didn't need to do this before. I could have tied this on afterwards. So it's a choice. You can put it on before like I did, or you can wait till the end and then just add it then. But I just tied it through the little opening there, and then I made a knot. I'm just using some 6-inch burlap. Now the burlap I got from Walmart, and I am just twisting that around the top. I'm just kind of figuring out how I can get this adhered. So I'm going to use my glue gun. I'm very careful not to glue the little plastic frame because I'm sure that it will break. So I glue the burlap to itself. And so then I'm going to pull that as tight as I can. And then I will just continue to wrap the burlap around the wreath, and around the witch hat, and then I am turning this into a scarecrow hat. So I'm going to continue to wrap the burlap around, and then every once in a while I will give a dot of hot glue so that the burlap kind of stays in place. This 5-inch mesh is from the Dollar Tree. Now I did pick this up back in the summer when they just first put out their fall stuff. So this is definitely something that you can do in years to come when they have these colors available. Now, to cut my mesh, I just have my mat and a rotary cutter. I'm cutting the mesh, the length at 12 inches. So that is going to be the length of my mesh. And so I am just cutting all of them at one time, but if you're not comfortable doing that, you can cut them one by one or just cut 2 colors at a time. Now to make my bundles, I guess I'm doing like a spiral or a tube technique. I'm not quite sure. Everyone calls it something different. So I have my 4 colors of mesh cut, and then I have some raffia. So I'm just rolling these up. I kind of let the mesh kind of, because it's on a roll, it just kind of curls itself, and I just kind of take it in my fingers and just kind of, go with it and just make a spiral. And then I put the raffia on there as well, and that is what I'm going to tie onto my scarecrow hat. So I just tie them directly to the frame with those chenille stems. At first I had made a bundle without the raffia, but then I learned that I do want the raffia in there. So it's actually an option. You can have each bundle with raffia, or you can alternate them. So, it just depends on how much raffia you want your scarecrow hat to have. I'll just continue to fill the entire bottom brim of the hat with those bundles. Now for the top of my hat, what I did is I made one of my rustic bows. I did show that in a recent video, so I will link to that up in the top as well as the bottom if you would like to check out how I make my rustic bows. I made it the same way that I showed it there in that video. So then now I'm just going to tie this around that raffia as tight as I can, because I want that raffia to kind of stick up and not be all wonky. So I'm just twisting that rustic bow around the raffia and getting it as tight as I can so that it will stick up. I'm just showing you here how I made a hanger for my Scarecrow hat. I just used a piece of chenille stem. Now I'm just going to add some berries that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to be adding those sporadically in my little Scarecrow hat, just hot gluing those in different places. There's no really rhyme or reason. I kind of use the triangle sequence. You know, I do one and then I go down and then I go up and then I go, you know, in between those. That's just kind of my thought process, because then I don't have too many at one little area and then not in enough. And so with these little hats, what I'm finding is that I work on one side and then I go to the other side so that they stay even. Then to finish off my hat, I have this 1.5 inch ribbon. Now I got this burlap ribbon from Sam's a couple of years ago, and I'm just making a simple little bow, and I use my tiny attacher stapler to staple it, and then I can bunch it up and I can put my chenille stem in there. So then what I do to attach the bow to the Scarecrow frame, I am just going to take that chenille stem and then I thread it through the front, and then I make sure that I don't pull it too tight, because I want the bow to kind of sit on top of the mesh instead of being sunk down in there. And so then I'm just using my chenille stem. I'm just going to twist that around the frame so that the bow stays in place. Once I finished my Scarecrow hat and took my pictures, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have added something to the top of the hat. So let me know, should I add something, and what is your suggestion? Should I add a little piece of fabric or maybe some more raffia? What would you add to the top of your hat? Leave me a comment in the comments below, okay? And if you make one, please consider joining us over in my free Country Charm community free Facebook page. There are so many of us over there, and just the talent in there just blows me away. I learn something every single time and am so grateful for all of those ladies in there. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Please give me a thumbs up, and you all have a great day, and God bless.